The Indianapolis Colts have won yet another barn burner, and that is what we're going to talk about today. You better believe it. The Colts win versus the Falcons in Berlin. I am extremely stoked to watch this team continue to flourish and win every single week. The stats today are just a little crazy. So the game ended 25-31 Colts. Again, they played in Berlin. The Colts improved to 8-2, while the Atlanta Falcons fall to 3-6. Daniel Jones went 19 of 26 for 255 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. And Jonathan Taylor simply showed why he is the MVP with 32 carries, 244 yards, and yet another 3 touchdowns. Another hat trick for Jonathan Taylor. If he's not getting considered for the MVP, I don't know why. Tyler Warren, also 99 yards on 8 receptions. Tyler Warren had a breakout game, showed why he is the best rookie in the NFL right now. Alec Pierce caught 4 balls for 84 yards, an average of 21 yards per catch. He leads the league yet again. He also caught a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor with 3 receptions for 42 yards. Pittman had 2 receptions for 19. Josh Downs, 1 reception for 3 yards. This was a bit of a sloppy game for the Colts, I'm not going to lie. Daniel Jones losing a fumble. Jones was sacked a total of 7 times, losing a fumble, losing an interception. The Colts did dominate time of possession with 40 minutes and 20 seconds to the Falcons 26.9. The Colts punted once while the Falcons punted 6 times. A total plays was 74 for the Colts, while only 60 for the Falcons. The Falcons did not go for it on 4th down. The Colts went 2 of 4. And on 3rd down, we went 2 of 12, which really isn't very good. But 0 for 8, on 3rd down for the Falcons. So we had 323 rushing yards to their 140, 196 passing yards to their 150. That doesn't make any sense. How many yards did... He says he had 255. That doesn't make any sense. Weird. So anyway, I wonder why it would say there then that we only have... Oh, I see. I was looking at the wrong thing. Anyway, Daniel Jones actually rushed a good bit today. 7 attempts for 53 yards from him, and that was big today. Daniel Jones on his feet. A lot of people don't really think that Daniel Jones is that great on his feet running, but he proved today he could definitely still do it if needed. And that's really good. Zaire Franklin had 10 tackles today. About the best of his career. Sauce Gardner with a very close interception of 4 tackles. Cam Bynum also had 4 tackles. Defense did not play too bad, although it didn't play too great. It was just all right. Was obviously indeed. Before I end up too much about the sloppiness, this was indeed a international game. That went into overtime at the end of the day, so it was a very scrappy event either way. Again, Jonathan Taylor, as far as some studs and duds for this game, it's very easy for studs. Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones, Alec Pierce. But when you lose And Alec Pierce is someone we have to pay. I tweeted about this during the game. If you ever want to get on me during the actual Colts game, you can follow me at Twitter, or on Twitter at JD's Takes. Same as on here, JD apostrophe S Takes. JD's Takes. I'm JD. These are my takes. But anyway, yeah, forgot what I was talking about a little bit. Oh yeah, before I talk about those, like I said, Alec Pierce needs. Before I talk about what was kind of sloppy about the game, Alec Pierce needs to get paid. I tweeted about this during the game. Pay this man. We need to. Well, these catches he's making, no one else is like. You have to pay a lot of money for someone else to make these kind of catches. I mean, he is worth a lot of money. That's kind of the duds here. Getting a little bit of negative about the game. Colts offensive protection. Daniel Jones was sacked 7 times. Stalled several big drives and turnovers. That's a big area of concern. Sauce Gardner in his Indy debut got beat for a big 2-point conversion. The thing about it is he didn't have a bad game. He didn't have a good game. He's only been there for 3 days. I'm not expecting a ton anyway from Sauce. I mean, what can you expect out of him, all right? Just Penix had some very inaccurate throws to Drake London. Drops by wide receivers like Kyle Pitts and Darnell Mooney really hurt the Falcons. Colts obviously still remain contenders. 8-2 record. They have Jonathan Taylor is firmly in the MVP conversation at this point. Our run game, major strength. However, there are some concerns with the pressure on Daniel Jones here recently. Last couple weeks, he's been getting hurt a lot. I mean, our offensive line was a stud for the first good bit of the season, and it seems like now they've regressed a bit, which isn't good. You don't want your offensive line getting worse. You want them getting better, and it's not like they had a terrible game. They had a good game, but let some people through, especially last week. But 7 sacks is obviously something that needs to be addressed. The international win in Berlin really adds some momentum and a global exposure to the Colts. Everyone had to watch that game at 9:30 this morning. If you're an NFL fan, you turned that game on and watched it. You just did. But yeah. So for the Falcons, however, just to get a little bit of what this kind of means for them, they dropped to 3-6. It's 4 straight losses. Playoff chances are pretty much gone, slipping at least. The offense, particularly third down conversion and pass efficiency, must improve for them if they want to go anywhere. Third down was very, very bad for them. The Colts will build on this international win. We will. About knocked the microphone over. We will go to face Kansas City next week. Or actually, we have a bye week, and then the week after that, we'll face Kansas City. It'll be a big game. I mean, a lot of people, no one's going to pick us. It's going to be one of those games, which I like those games where people kind of count us out and say, the Colts aren't going to win, because we end up winning them most of the time. It's not really good to go and only win by 6 versus the Falcons team that is a lot better on the field than they are on paper, but still we should have beat more than by an overtime last-second situation. So, it's not the greatest performance, even with all the yards. We just made too many costly mistakes, sacks and stuff, drive stoppers. But, the headline really is Jonathan Taylor's historic performance, which overshadowed several faults on our Indianapolis' side, and major execution issues, for Atlanta, obviously. For fans, this really kind of reinforced the Colts' legitimacy and exposed key areas of concern for issues with the Falcons, with their team. But if you're watching the Colts, this is the one you build on. This is the one you come and you face the Kansas City Chiefs in 2 weeks, and you sit all those doubters to rest, because Jonathan Taylor will run past you, over you. He does not care. He made up for his performance last week, this week with all of his yards, and I mean you can't ask for too much better than that. Real quick, I feel it's worthy just to play the first couple minutes of what Shane Steichen had to say here post game.
No injuries to report for you guys. Overall, just a phenomenal game. Some back and forth, a gritty win by our guys. Obviously getting it to overtime there and finding a way. And congrats to JT setting the all-time franchise record for rushing touchdowns. Just a phenomenal.
I forgot to mention that JT setting a record this game, a literal record-breaking game. Franchise record holder, man. This man is going to the moon. I'm sorry, Shane. Go ahead and continue, buddy.
And protecting. I thought it was phenomenal. Our guys battled like crazy, and just a hell of experience over here playing this football game.
23 yards total on the ground for the Colts. I think the Colts are really, really happy with the way that their team performs right now. Even if it's not the entire game, they come together at the end, like Shane mentions here, and they win. But Jonathan Taylor and Daniel Jones here.
Describe. I mean, like you mentioned all three phases of the game. That's what it took. It's a very good team over there, a very tough team, and we knew that coming into the game. And then, of course, as the game unfolds, you just realize how much you have to depend on each other. Like you said, offense, defense, special teams, and I think that's what we did. It was a three-phase full effort, and that's the kind of games you live for. Those are the kind of games that you remember and you look back on and you're like, man, we really came together that day.
That's true, man. And I think it took all the punt returns, the kick returns. It really, really took everyone this game to come together and say, we're going to win this thing in the end. No matter what anyone says, no matter what anyone does, we are winning this thing in the end. And I cannot do anything but respect what the Colts did here. And although Sauce Gardner might not have had the best debut of all time, I think he had an adverse effect where you're not throwing to him too often. Yes, he fell down once. It happens, man. You're going to nitpick a little bit as a Colts fan. I get it, but this is a win, and that's one thing we don't do is argue with winning. Oh, not Jonathan Taylor, excuse me. Daniel Jones bleeding out of his mouth and playing this game was special because it showed he cares about this team winning more than we already thought. When a guy is legitimately bleeding out of his mouth and not caring at all, you realize this man is dedicated to this craft, to this team, to this game. He just makes some errors for the last couple of games here that you really don't want to see. It's not really good. It really can be if he just drops these mistakes. He didn't have these silly mistakes for the first about 6 weeks of the season, so he can get back, For a lot of people who follow the Colts and talk about the Colts especially, it's very easy to point to Jonathan Taylor's performance and be like, oh, that's a great performance, and it's true, it is. He's got like 5 3-touchdown performances. There was 4, whatever craziness. But I think the performance of the offensive line, the performance of the special teams, all really had to come together. Excuse me. My bad. Sorry about that. Anyway, they all had to come together to win this game and to win big games. You might have the MVP on your team, and I'm not saying we don't, because we do have the MVP on our team. However, he can't do it by himself. And so all these people working together with him, it's so easy to talk about Jonathan Taylor because, he's the best running back in the league. I made a video about it on TikTok earlier today. He's the best running back in the league. It's very, very, very simple. However, he needs the offensive line. You need the whole unit, the whole team, all 3 units working together just like they did today in times that it matters. It doesn't matter if you go into the 4th quarter down by nothing. It doesn't matter any of that. When a crunch time happens, this team comes together. And this team does that time and time and time again. This team comes together to prove to everyone that we can win when we need to win. And although Daniel Jones may not be perfect, do not get me wrong, he makes mistakes. And when he does it, sometimes I'm like, can we not do this? You know, like, can we not throw a stupid pick? Can we not catch 3, get sacked 7 times in a game? But at the end of the day, we are winning, and you don't argue with winning. Speaking of winning, let's switch gears a little bit to the Pacers because they're not winning. The Pacers are 1-8. Got a couple of their guys back, and Nembhard, I got him back. But Nembhard scored 22, which on their game versus the Nuggets yesterday. Pascal had 14, and Nesmith had 25. The Pacers are just not good this season, and that sucks because I love the Pacers. And I don't love that we don't have any of our people healthy. I mean, we need these guys back. We need I'm sorry, I just seen a notification. Giants quarterback Jackson Dart has been ruled out with a concussion. I just seen that live right now. That's kind of crazy. So is that mean Russell Wilson's in the game? Oh, he is in the game. Are they winning? Let's just pull this up, guys, right here. Live on the old pod. Let's pull this up and watch this game. Who does he play for again? Oh, yeah, the Giants. The Giants are up 20-10 right now. Pretty crazy. It's snowing there. 5 minutes left in the fourth. But anyway. What were they talking about? Look at the Pacers. The Pacers got to get it together and start playing Pacers basketball again. It's that simple. Get their players back healthy, and I think they will be fine. However, Kentucky basketball is 2-0. We finally play a real opponent, which the Louisville Cardinals on the 8th. We have beat both Nichols College and Valaspiro College, respectively, by 48 points and 26 points. So that's just straight domination by Kentucky. And now Louisville is next on Tuesday. Can't wait to watch that game. That's going to be a fun one. Kentucky football actually has won 3 in a row, and we love to see that. Mark Stoops probably going to keep his job. We beat Florida yesterday, 38-7, taking our record of 4-5. We play Tennessee Tech on Saturday at 1:30. We'll probably stomp all over them, making us 5-5, and then we'll probably end the season with a loss to Vanderbilt. We play them on the 22nd. But that's the rundown. Colts get the dub. Can't argue with winning. I thank you guys so much for joining. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye week this week. So I'm thinking I'm going to do a couple of different podcasts this week. Not sports related. Just talk. Just me giving out some ideas. Maybe I do sports related stuff. I think I might go do a top 5 quarterbacks, top 5 quarterbacks of all time, or maybe I'll do a podcast about why I started becoming a Colts fan. It's pretty good story, really. Why I became a fan of the Pacers, why I became a fan of the Kentucky Wildcats, all of these things. I might just do something like that. But bye week, I will be back probably 1 or 2 times, and then I'll come back the next week with a Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs play the Indianapolis Colts November 23rd, the next 2 weeks from today. And, it is going to be electrifying to watch these two teams. I cannot wait to see Patty Mahomes versus Daniel Jones. It's going to be great. I'm so excited. I'll see y'all then with a preview show to that. We'll break down why we're going to beat Patrick Mahomes breaks off as the Indianapolis Colts. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all very soon. Bye.